Well, good evening. I'm getting ready to go pick up my son and realized I hadn't done my buyer video yet for today. So I'm going to take a minute and focus and do it before I take off. Quick recap from yesterday. We discussed how last year this time you could buy $1.1 million home for $5,000 a month. Now it's $750,000 for $5,000 a month. And most people value homes based on what the monthly payment is. That's how much they're willing to spend. So they can't see why they would want to buy a $750,000 home when they could have bought 1.1, driving prices down. Anyways, quick recap. Watch the video from yesterday if you didn't. It'll make a lot more sense. But I wanted to dive into today, with so many buyers on the fence about waiting versus buying now, why they should buy now. Well, as interest rates go up, the housing prices go down because there's less buyers, less buying power, and it's a supply and demand thing. There's not as much demand as anything in this world. So that being said, people say, well, why don't I wait? They're still declining. Well, as interest rates go up, it will decline. But remember, as interest rates go up, what we talked about yesterday, that payment will go up too, making it potentially you not being able to buy. And just like we talked about yesterday, the housing prices don't come down as fast as the interest rate brings up that payment. So it could ultimately wind up costing you to wait. Now, objection number 2 is, well, I knew someone that bought in 05 and 08's going to happen all over again. We see it coming. These are what people are telling me, so they're going to wait for that to happen and then they can buy it all up. Okay, well, real estate lenders, don't freak out on me. Let's just say that's the truth for the sake of argument. Now I'm going to tell you a little story about a family who bought in August of 2005. Peak of the market. They bought a home for $420,000. Small home. They put, if I remember correctly, about $50,000 down. Don't quote me on that. So when they bought the home, they had $50,000 in equity from what they put down. And they move in and they enjoy the home until the end of 08, when the house gets foreclosed on. The house goes up, is a bank-owned home, sells for $104,000. Now these people were not in one of those crazy loans. They chose to let it go because they thought it would never be worth that again. So they let their home go. They lost their $50,000 that they put into the home and let it go. Their payment was, I can't remember exactly, but in the 2000s, let's say $2,500 a month, something like that. So fast forward to 21, beginning of 2022, how much do you guys think that home was worth? That home was worth $560,000 to $570,000. Had they kept the home, they would not only have made $150,000 in equity, which is what it means when we keep telling you the homes will continue to appreciate over time. They also wouldn't have lost their $50,000 down payment. So now we are talking about $200,000 that they would have right now, and they have nothing had they chosen to keep their home. Now, what I tell people is that you necessarily don't have to live in the home. That home would rent for about $2,800 a month. So they could not only make their mortgage, but also make a couple $100 a month had they kept that home. And again, remember, they bought in the peak. Now they didn't, and that's one of their biggest regrets now, because instead of continuing to build their wealth, they're stuck trying to start all over with 7% interest rates. So this is why when you can buy, you want to buy. And that's what we mean by homes will appreciate over time. We're not talking about buy a home now and sell it 6 months from now. No, even if it appreciated a little bit with fees and closing costs and all that, you would lose money. That makes 0 sense. We're talking about buy a home now, make sure you can afford your payment. So make sure you make enough money to make that payment every month. Live in this home for 3 to 5 years with your family. Enjoy the home, then upgrade. If interest rates come down, refinance, that's fine, but then upgrade. Then in 3 to 5 years, you can rent out that home and buy yourself another home. Now you're starting to acquire wealth. The number one way people get wealthy in the United States is through real estate. So why? Why wouldn't you buy now? It makes 0 sense to wait. When you can afford to buy, you need to buy. Now I understand. Some people can't afford to buy right now and have to wait for credit repairs, things like that. I understand, but you need to get in contact with your local trusted agent and your local trusted lender so that we can guide you on what you need to do to get you in a home. It may be a year down the road. It may be a month down the road. But talk to the experts, because the longer you sit on the sidelines and wait, you are costing yourself money, retirement, and wealth. So the overall moral is buy. There's no reason not to buy. I understand you can't do the $1.1 million home and you can only afford the $750, or it might be $500 versus $6 in your case. Whatever your case might be, if you can afford to buy, buy. Another story, I just met with a first-time buyer, mid-20s, saved up a down payment. They're ready to buy. Because of interest rates, they can now only afford a condo. I spoke to them. They're going to go ahead and buy the condo at a 30-year fixed. They're going to go ahead and live in it for 3 to 5 years and then hopefully rent it out to upgrade. These are things people are doing. Don't get left on the sidelines. Call us today, 925-783-4357. And stay tuned for tomorrow to find out if you should sell now or wait. This one's very different and very much depending on the situation. So stay tuned tomorrow. We'll talk about selling. Today was buying. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.